In this crazy world that we're living in, where anything and everything is possible, you can guarantee that Arsenal will still absolutely crumble against Man City. The Gunners returned to action on Wednesday night, but were battered 3-0 after a David Luiz disaster class off the bench. But today we're going to look at Arsenal's starting 11 from that game and see where those players are in 2025 using our new Football Manager 2020 simulation. Bernd Leno still at Arsenal. While Arsenal struggled at City, Bernd Leno at least put a performance in he can be proud of. The German stopper kept the score down, and in our Football Manager simulation, he's still the number one in the Emirates in 2025. Leno has just enjoyed his best season in between the sticks and has been solid during every season of the simulation. He's even been getting a lot of Man of the Match awards, which maybe says a lot about Arsenal's defence. Hector Bellerin, Manchester City. After beating them 3-0 on Wednesday night, Man City have also taken Arsenal's right back as well. Well, on Football Manager at least. Bellerin left Arsenal in the summer of 2021, with City paying a huge £59 million to whisk him away from the Emirates. He hasn't really been any better in a City shirt, but he hasn't been any worse either. He's just remained the same, plodding on, like he's still getting grief for liking fashion and being vegan. Before we go any further, if you haven't subscribed to Elecspo already, please do. You'd be an absolute legend for it. Hit that subscribe button, make sure you never miss a video, and I'll love you forever. Shkodran Mustafi, Wolfsburg. Rejoice Arsenal fans, the Mustafi nightmare is over. In fact, it was over pretty quickly. After just 3 games he was sent on loan to Everton where he has previous, then in the summer of 2020 he was gone permanently to the Bundesliga. Mustafi joined Frankfurt for just shy of £8 million and didn't really justify the decision to snap him up. By 2024 he was on the move again, joining Wolfsburg for £10.75 million, meaning Frankfurt were able to turn a profit. His best season of the simulation was the 23-24 campaign, where he played 1 game and got an average rating of 7, a picture of consistency. Pablo Mari, Palmeiras. The Spaniard made a brief appearance on Wednesday night before getting injured, an injury which would end up effectively costing Arsenal. And on Football Manager, Mari didn't last long in England either. After his loan spell, Mari returned to Brazil, but would join Palmeiras for £3.5 million. He's been excellent in Brazil, which is even more impressive when you see how many games he's playing, but why didn't Arsenal sign him permanently? He looked decent based on his averages, but seemingly it wasn't enough to earn him a full-time contract. Kieran Tierney is still there. We've got another player who's still at Arsenal, and in the real world Kieran Tierney has a lot to prove in red. His Gunners career hasn't really taken off yet, but on Football Manager he's proven himself to be a solid and dependable left back. In 2025 he's still a Gunner, taking home £155,000 a week and valued at £53 million. Joe Willock still there. This has been something of a breakout season for Joe Willock, with the young midfielder playing a lot of football despite his tender age. 5 years on Football Manager and Willock is still with Arsenal, but he's not developed into a cultured key player at the Emirates. If anything, it's a shock he's still there. He's only played 10 or more Premier League games in 1 season, and when he does play, he doesn't impress. But with a value of £33.5 million, why would any club want to pay that much money or more for a player who clearly isn't up to the standard? Matteo Guendouzi, Everton. Joe Willock hasn't kicked on, and more surprisingly Guendouzi hasn't either. When I saw he was at Everton, I thought maybe they'd spent big money for a marquee midfielder, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Guendouzi headed to Goodison Park in 2024, costing a measly £4.4 million, and the season before that he was on loan at Bournemouth. The Frenchman's done alright for Everton, but is far from being the star that many people, including myself, expect him to become. Granit Xhaka, Borussia Mönchengladbach. If Unai Emery had stayed at Arsenal, Granit Xhaka probably would have gone by now. But Emery got the sack, meaning Xhaka would be handed another chance at the Emirates. But on Football Manager, the Swiss midfielder's time as a Gunner is over. He would have loan spells at Southampton and Sevilla, but in 2023 his contract would expire, allowing Xhaka to return to Borussia Mönchengladbach for free, 7 years after they managed to get £37 million for him. If he was any good, that would be some sensational business. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, retired. Arsenal's one big hope didn't last long on Football Manager, as he would head for the bright lights of Real Madrid in January 2021. But sadly for him, he would only last 18 months in the Spanish capital. Aubameyang didn't really play much for Madrid, ending his time there with 4 La Liga goals in 12 games. After that he headed to Ajax where the goals kinda flowed again, but it must have just been a 1-year deal as the following season he joined Levante for free. He struggled there, and in the summer of 2024 he called time on his career. Aubameyang is now looking to become a director of football, but Arsenal are yet to pick up the phone to try and bring him back. Bukayo Saka is still at Arsenal. He's the golden goose of Arsenal's youngsters right now, but sadly on FM20 Saka hasn't developed into the star he's surely going to be. The winger is still with Arsenal, but rarely plays and rarely does anything useful when he does play, which is why he's on the transfer list with an asking price of just £11.25 million. Brentford, Palace, Derby, Sheffield United and Brighton are all keen, which is a far cry from a previous simulation where he'd ended up in Man United for something like 50 million quid. Man, this game's inconsistent. Eddie Nketiah, Burnley. Mikel Arteta showed a lot of faith in the youngster by starting him over Lacazette on Wednesday night, and there are big hopes that he'll develop into the Premier League poacher Arsenal crave. But on FM20 he's far from prolific in the year 2025. He briefly left Arsenal in 2021 to join AC Milan on loan, but then in 2023 left permanently, with Burnley paying £10.25 million for his signature. So far it hasn't really worked out, with Nketiah scoring just 3 Premier League goals and suffering relegation in 2025. Clearly the simulation hasn't been kind to Arsenal's kids. Right, let's have a look at some other players before we go, and end with what happened to Mikel Arteta. Sokratis is now retired and wanting to become a manager after finishing his career in America. Sead Kolasinac is taking in a life of luxury in Monaco where he barely has to kick a ball. David Luiz would join Nice and retire shortly after, distancing himself completely from football, which is probably for the best. Mesut Ozil also retired and wants to be a director of football after ending his career in Italy. Lucas Torreira is still a gunner alongside Nicolas Pepe and Gabriel Martinelli. Alexander Lacazette is a free agent after being released by Sampdoria, and as for Mikel Arteta, he is under 23's assistant manager at Sheffield United. Christ, that is some fall from grace. So that's Arsenal's current side 5 years on according to our Football Manager 2020 simulation. Let us know what you think in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo, and until next time, we'll see you around.